police killer remains on the run this morning after he shot and killed 2 officers in rural Victoria and caused severe injuries, shooting a third. Let's bring in Housing Minister Clare O'Neill and Shadow Foreign Minister Michaelia. Good morning to both of you. This is a tragic morning for Victoria's police force, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, Nat. This is an unfathomable tragedy in my home state of Victoria, to have 2 police officers valiantly put themselves in the way of danger, not just to protect our broader Victorian community, but to protect children in our community. And to see them lose their lives in this way is a terrible thing. I know incidents like this affect every single police officer and their family around the country. So could I say on behalf of the Australian government how deeply grateful we are for the incredible work of our police forces. It is very unusual to have a job where you put yourself in the way of danger every day, but police officers do it to protect all of us, and we are so truly grateful for it. And my condolences to the families who are affected here. This should never have happened.
Yeah, you're right. Michaelia, these officers were just obviously doing their job, serving, protecting the community, and now many more of them are out there in bushland trying to get this lowlife.
Look, Nat, it's just a reminder for each and every one of us today that every morning when we wake up and we go to work, we are safe because there are Australians, police officers and others who are prepared to put their lives on the line each and every day so that we can be safe. 2 of those officers have now paid the highest price. 1 is in hospital. So on behalf of the Coalition, we are heartbroken for those families. We are heartbroken for the community. But more than that, a clear message to the police across Australia, but in particular to those wearing that blue uniform in Victoria. We stand with you, but more than that, please know we thank you each and every day. You keep us safe, and 2 of your officers have paid the ultimate price and 1 is in hospital. That is just devastating.
Yeah, we salute you this morning. Moving on now, Iran's ambassador will soon leave this country after he was expelled by the government when Iran was exposed for triggering at least 2 anti-Semitic attacks on Australian soil. Claire, the ASIO boss also says Iran may be linked to many more attacks. How widespread is this threat?
Nat, this is an unbelievable and malevolent act of aggression on Australian soil. What has happened here is a foreign power, the Iranians, have come into Australian soil and deliberately sought to invoke terror, to sow division, to turn one Australian against another through an act of foreign interference. It is an extraordinary thing that has happened here. We know at least that the Adas synagogue firebombing, which is actually very close to my community in Victoria, was an act of orchestrated foreign interference. And the Lewis Kitchen incident in Sydney also, we know now, was linked to the Iranian government. So what the security agencies have told us is that it is likely there are more attacks linked back to Iran, and we will not stop until we uncover the full scope of what has happened here. Now, you've seen the Australian government take some actions which have been supported by the Coalition. This is a really important time for us to stand together strong as a country. We will not tolerate this kind of interference with our beautiful, safe and peaceful community in Australia.
Michaelia, they hired these so-called cutouts, local people who actually carried out the attacks. How concerned should we be for our safety now in this country?
Well, Nat, let's be very clear. Despite what Claire has just said, this is the letter signed by Clare O'Neill, Penny Wong and Mark Dreyfus, responding to the Coalition's calls to list this organisation as a terrorist organisation. And guess what the letter says? They won't do it. We demanded action 2.5 years ago. The Iranian community here in Australia demanded action 2.5 years ago, and this government did nothing. So here is a clear message to Mr Albanese. Bring on the legislation to list this organisation today. You have the resources to do this, and we will assist you in passing it, just like we told you we would do 2.5 years ago, just like the Iranian community here in Australia who fled the brutal Islamic regime and all its horror and terror have been telling the government to do. But Claire, perhaps you'd like to explain to Australians your answer that you just gave to Nat, because you signed a letter, here it is, giving every excuse in the world, despite the clear warnings by the coalition and the Iranian community telling you, list this organisation. This is your letter, and it says you won't. You need to explain to the Australian people why you didn't show leadership at the time. You just sat on your hands and did nothing.
Claire?
Well, I think that was a rude and unworthy performance from Michaelia there. I have a really strong view that when our country comes under aggression and violence from a foreign power, that our politicians should stand together and fight back. So, you know, I try to respect the work of politicians in Canberra. My personal view is this is not the time for politics. I think it's grossly inappropriate. I think it's really important that the two major parties in particular work together on matters like this. That's usually the approach that we see from the coalition. Michaelia has taken a different approach today, and that's her business.
Claire, if the Islamic Revolutionary Guard was being warned about 2.5 years ago, as it sounds like the case, was it worth looking into?
Well, Nat, of course, our security agencies have been firmly focused on Iranian foreign interference for as long as I have been in Parliament. This has been an issue confronting the country. Iran doesn't just do this in Australia, it's actually the modus operandi of the Iranian government. They do it around the world. Our security agencies have been able to uncover this because of the hard work that they do every day.
But was it too late?
So, I'm very supportive of the work that our security agencies do. Police investigations take time. The important thing is that we've gotten to the bottom of what has happened here. The Australian government is taking the necessary action, and I'm hopeful that the coalition will support us and stand together as one country, as we should do in times like this.
Final word, Michaelia.
That is a pathetic response, Claire. 2.5 years ago, we could have stood together and listed this organisation. Instead, we have the Islamic Republic of Iran. They don't share the same values as us, Claire. They seek to kill people on Australian soil. You and your government have a lot to answer today. Penny Wong, Mark Dreyfus, Clare O'Neill. You were warned. The coalition, the Iranian community here in Australia told you this is the letter. You said no. You have some serious explaining to do today. And yes, we will stand with you. Bring on the legislation. Enough is enough. Let's list these people for what they are. Terrorists who have sought to kill Australians on Australian soil.
OK, a lot of questions to answer there by the sound of it over why this didn't happen 2.5 years ago. We also have Penny Wong on, so we'll ask her the same question coming up in an hour's time. Thank you very much. Here's Chevo.